Hello and welcome to a little video by myself and Gonzo about why West Ham should finish in the top six this season. Well, it's maybe not quite that. It's a little bit clickbait, but we had to put something to get you to come and listen to what we've got to say. But it's something I want to get my teeth into, and it's best to do it after a defeat. When you talk about a topic like this, I think it's important you do it after a loss, because if you do it after a win, you're sort of accused, or it looks like you're joining a hype train, you're jumping on the bandwagon. So after a defeat, it's the right time to go. But anyway, before we jump into that, Gonzo, is pretty good to be feeling safe already at this point of the season for 2 years running.
Yeah, it certainly is, mate. It certainly is. But yeah, you got. It's nice to say safe. There's obviously clubs down the bottom that aren't, mate. But for once or twice, should I say, we're not flirting with the dreaded R word.
And do you want to know what's better? Do you know what's better for feeling safe?
But tell me, donuts, not donuts. I take it.
When you can browse the internet safe. You know all about that, Gonzo.
I do, and not for the reasons that you're inferring. You're talking about a VPN, which is a virtual private network, which I use quite a lot. In fact, I use it all the time. In fact, I'm on one now. When I watch the telly, I'm on one. A VPN keeps you safe. It keeps you secure. It keeps your browsing data safe. It keeps all of your information that's on your computer safe, because basically what you're doing is you're scrambling your IP address. So people can't take all your stuff, and you'll find it very, very useful if you use it on at 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. All that buffering and all that stuff that stops you watching the match, it sorts that out as well.
This video is brought to you in collaboration with IVC, who is a partner of West Ham United. They are the partner of West Ham United. And we've got a deal for you. The link is in the description below, so you can click that. But if you use the code WestHam25, you get a 25% discount on all their subscriptions. But the 1 year subscription is good value, in my opinion. It works out at £32. It's $40 for the year, which is about £32 to you and I. So yeah, premium VPN for you there with IVC. Link is in the description. Have a little look, and like Gonzo said, it's particularly helpful on Saturday at 3 p.m. But are you ready to get stuck into this top six chatter?
Yeah, I just listened to your introduction though, and you said you wanted to do this video, and you
Yeah,
said to me we might want to prepare some stuff. I think
yeah.
we might be coming at it from different angles, mate.
What angle are you coming at it from then?
Well, you seem to suggest in your tone of voice that we're going to get top six.
Not that we will, but I think right, there's two things here. For football fans, there's hope and there's expectation, and they're two different things, okay? So you can expect eighth in the Premier League, and you know what? I still am expecting eighth, but you can hope for something better. And usually, it's like a seesaw. You've got a seesaw of hope and expectation. Usually, expectation is the one that overrules hope. It's the heavier one. It's the one that drags you down, if you like, as a football fan. But I think it's for this season, going by how the season's gone so far, not just for West Ham, more importantly for other clubs such as Manchester United, I think there's a reason that we should allow hope to actually overrule expectation just for a little while at least. Because if come May, Man United are in that top six, I will be surprised. Okay, I will be surprised. So that means there's an opening. That means there's one team getting in there that's not considered as the top six. Now, everyone's watching this going Leicester City, and I understand that because I too am thinking Leicester City. But why? Why should we accept Leicester City is going to be that team? I don't think we should. I think we, as West Ham fans, should be hoping to finish in top six, and so should Bournemouth fans, for example. Because if we can't do it this season, then when are we ever going to do it? We often say, people, when we do cups of tea, we get questions, what's it going to take? What's it going to take? We say, well, loads of money and a club to slip up. Well, we've got the club slipping up. We've got that. That's something out with West Ham United's control. So we've had to sit and wait for this opportunity, and it's now in our laps. It's there for the taking. And I just think in May, if Man United are not in the top six, which I expect, and we aren't, I'll be a bit disappointed, you know. There'll be a bit of me that thinks we've missed arguably the best opportunity since 2015-16 to get in there. And when you look at some of the players we've got, like Sebastian Allaire, slightly criminal almost.
Yeah, I mean, this scenario has played out before, though, albeit slightly higher up the table, of course, when Leicester won the title. And you've got to grasp the nettle when it happens. And they certainly did grasp the nettle. I think, a lot of things got to go for you. I think that season they played a very, very consistent team. They managed to really steer clear of injuries. They had the player of the season in Riyad Mahrez, of course. And I know we're talking about winning the title as opposed to top six. So there is some disparity there. So to win the title, you're going to need high end 70 to 80 points. And that, in that particular season. Now, with what Liverpool and Manchester City do, the bar has been raised. But there's also a set number of points for top six. Now, when you asked me earlier, and you said do your preparation or whatever, or do your research, because we're going to have a chat about this, I did write I typed some things down. And what I typed down was definites and then maybes. I'm not doing an Oasis thing there, by the way. Okay. So definitely, maybes, and possibly. So definitely in top six: Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham. I also, and you're right about Leicester, because I actually put them up in there as well, because I think they definitely will. Okay. Then I had maybes: Wolves, Everton, Bournemouth, Palace, possibly Burnley. Now, what this wasn't necessarily top six, by the way. These were teams that I thought would finish ahead of us, definitely. Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Leicester. I think will definitely finish ahead of us. Who could possibly finish ahead of us? Wolves, Everton, Bournemouth, Palace, Burnley. So I just think we're mixing it out with the others. And I also look at us now, and I think we've played 8 games, we've won 3. I think you've got to be doing a bit better ratio than that if you're going to be challenging the top 6. And whilst I agree that Manchester United have dropped out, I'm not sure we've got it in us to claim that spot, quite frankly.
I think we've got to find it within us to claim it, though, because we threw away the cup. Now, the cup is... This goes back to my first point, which was about hope and expectation. At the start of the season, the hope is the cups. You save the hope for that. But once that cup's gone, we just thought, oh, well, let's not bother with the football until January when the FA Cup comes round again. Well, actually, I think we've got to take an opportunity so that we are looking like contenders for the top 6 that comes January. And this comes my other point, where we've been in a situation before with Allardyce's last season there, Villich's season, first season, where we were in contention for top 6, and in January we did nothing. We did nothing to strengthen it. It was difficult to strengthen in January, but Pellegrini has to get us in a position that come January, he's almost got a case to go to David Sullivan and say, give me £25 million. I'm only going to get one player, but that will keep us in the top 6, okay? And I would just going by what you said about the definitelys. I've seen enough of the Premier League this season. There's an absolute shambles going on at Spurs right now. Now, they probably will sort it out.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity. There's a short-term opportunity to keep swinging punches at them, if you like. Everybody that goes to play them, we spoke about the fear factor of Man United a few weeks ago, and we said there isn't any. Right now, Spurs have lost that fear factor. Until they start winning again, they've lost that. Arsenal, there's something about them. They've almost got like no spine. Emery's almost, I don't want to say being found out, because he's clearly a good manager, but he's maybe not a Premier League manager. He's almost like a cup manager, and it's not going down well with Arsenal fans, who are a Champions League fan base rather than a cup fan base, if that makes any sense at all. Their priority is getting into the top 4 and playing good football, where Emery's priority is, I want to win a bit of silverware.
I like the sound of him.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that gives us and other clubs an opportunity to take advantage of that, because we're 8 games in. There's chaos at Spurs, there's chaos at Man United, and there's chaos at Arsenal already. We're 8 games in. The fan bases are all unhappy. Everybody's blaming each other. I think Chelsea they've gone under the radar, and they're doing really well. I've been impressed by what Frank Lampard's done in the fact that they've integrated sort of last season's Championship players into this year's squad, and they're playing really well. Tomori, Mount, Abraham. So I think they'll be in the top. I think Chelsea will finish 3rd, to be honest with you. I think it'll be Liverpool, Man City. Then I think Chelsea are looking like they're going to be 3rd comfortably. Too far behind, but quite comfortably ahead of the rest of them. And there's just an opportunity that presents itself. Now, the danger is for West Ham that we are one injury away from Sebastian Haller from being toothless up front. We're an injury away from Declan Rice to having a floodgates open on our defence. But if I look at Leicester City, you could say the same for Jamie Vardy. Would Ian Atcho up front terrify defences? Probably not. If you take out Ndidi, can Chowdhury go in there and play as well? He's a good player, but he's nowhere near Ndidi's quality. I just think this season an opportunity is there that's out with West Ham's control, and it would be fools not to go gung ho for it. It's a pity that Pellegrini's plan to concentrate on the league hasn't worked over the last couple of games, but come May, Gonzo, if there's someone in that top six, it's not West Ham, I'll be disappointed because it goes back to 2016. This is what the move was for. This is why we've spent £150 million in the last 2 summers. It's building this up. We've now got the opportunity, and if we don't take it, then what?
Well, yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely, this is what the move was about. And also, I say in my list of possibilities, it was never really the plan that we would be here and I'd be sat on the end of a webcam saying I'm not sure if we'll finish ahead of Bournemouth, which is how it is. I couldn't say I wouldn't put my house on it, mate. I can tell you now. I wouldn't put my laptop on it. I wouldn't, I wouldn't.
Shed?
Definitely not. Let me tell you that. I wouldn't put anything on it. And you're right in as much as the planets are aligning, as they did for Leicester that time. You're right. Tottenham are stuttering. Man U are in complete disarray. Arsenal, you're right, do not have that aura. That I know what you mean about spineless. They don't appear to have a leader, do they? So the planets are lined up for us. But I think our rocket is stuttering a little bit. So I'm not sure we can get off the ground to take advantage of it. The other thing that, and I think you're absolutely right, what you said about January is crucial, as they have to. Because teams that tend to go on and do something better or improve on the previous season tend not to be the ones that have cut their wage bill, which is what we've done. We need to press ahead. We need to grasp the nettle, and we need to do exactly what you've just said. But then it does come down to ambition. But we talk about ambition because we look at it like a club's ambition. It may well be Pellegrini's ambition to qualify for the UEFA Cup through the league. I think it would be fair to say that's what he wants to do. He talks about big club mentality. I think it's a soundbite. I think it's a platitude. I think it's a throwaway comment. I'm not entirely sure what it means. But even if that's his ambition, the board's ambition might not be that at all. It might be to stay safe, and they might look at it. You started this video by saying that we're safe. If that's their ambition, they're not going to give him the money. He might be turning around and saying, well, hold on, no, give me that 25 million. We've saved money. And they might be thinking, well, hey, yeah, you have saved us a bit of money. We have saved on the wages. But look, we're comfortably in 10th or whatever, because we probably will finish 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, something like that, which is good. And there are a lot of teams comparable to that. But any manager will take a player if a board turn around and say, oh, transfer window coming up. Do you want another player? Very few. You hear Guardiola saying it, don't you? January comes up, we don't need any more players. Well done, Pep. That's very gracious of you. Of course, you can say that, mate, because you've got 2 world-class players in every position. But a normal club and a normal manager, they're not going to say no to a £25 million player. I'm not sure that it gets sanctioned, quite frankly.
The thing is, though, if we are comfortably in 10th, as you just said there, I wouldn't give it to Pellegrini either. Say, hang on, what are you going to do with that? Move up to 8th? What's the point? It would have to be something. It would have to be an achievement that's worthy of the 25 million. Top 6 is an achievement for West Ham United. 7th and 8th are still good. There's still something that we could look back on and say it was a good season. But in terms of £25 million, is it worth £25 million? No, it's not. The extra 3 places in the league, it amounts to about £9 million or something in extra. So it's not worth it for David Sullivan to write out that check. It's just not worth it for him. But that's where Pellegrini, between now and January, Pellegrini's got to get us in a position that he can go to the chairman and say, look, we're 7th, we're 6th, we're 5th, whatever. Man United are 8 points behind us already. We can do this. But, we need this or we need that in our team, and it's going to cost X, Y, Z. Part of that also comes back and says, well, you've got to get Pablo Fornals playing then if you want 20 million, because that was your last £25 million. And, I'm not saying it didn't work out. It's just that we haven't seen him yet, have we? We haven't seen the best of him. He hasn't justified his price tag yet. He might not do it until next season. He might never do it. But Pellegrini's under a little bit of pressure that if you want 25 million, you've got to justify your last expenditure. But if come May, Man United don't go on some sort of winning streak, or they don't sack Ole and get a top manager in, like I don't know, like a top manager in, Who would you not be disappointed if we're not in the top 6?
I'm horrendously disappointed because I think because of the cup, because that's the gamble we made. We threw the cup so as we could be strong in the 2 league games or the subsequent league games, and we've got 1 point from the 2 league games. So yeah, I would be horrendously disappointed. I also think that Man United are there for the taking because Edward Woodward is a stutterer. He hesitates. He doesn't act when decisive action is needed. He knows now that he's got to sack Solskjaer. He knows it now. He won't act now. He'll stumble and carry on and go on some more and go on some more until actually, what are you going to do? Wait for the next 4 or 5 losses? They might get a draw. They might buy him. They might get a win, but I'll tell you what, that will be followed by another loss at some point. He's the wrong manager. He's not good enough. And that's going to play into everybody else's favour because, fortunately, not only is the manager not good enough, the chief executive at Manchester United is not good enough either. So that's going to make him not be trigger happy. I do think Leicester are fallible. Clearly, they've had a couple of losses, which you see in their last few games. Spurs, we discussed. Spurs could run and run, or at least until January. Eriksen doesn't want to be there. The centre halves don't want to be there. Alderweireld and Vertonghen, apparently. The manager, we don't know. Possibly he doesn't want to be there. It's interesting to see what's happened with Zidane. It's less simple with Tottenham because there's actually almost 4 things that need to be sorted out. Well, that's very difficult to sort out 4 problems. It's difficult enough to sort out 1. Even if Man United do sort out Solskjaer and get another manager in, number one, what manager's going to take it? Probably not a top one. And then also, their players just aren't good enough. They've got 1 player in Pogba who's considerably better than everybody else, but he's not right up there. So, you're not going to get, it's Pereira and Jesse Lingard, and you're going to get a Mata and people like that. You're not going to get them to take you up into the top 6. It just ain't going to happen. So there are 2 clubs there. I do think Arsenal, because of their forward line, have got enough. He is so good at Aubameyang, so good. He is possibly the best striker in the Premier League, and he is nobody's fool, Emery, and I think he has got enough. Even if they lose the odd game here or there, which they will, he's got enough to keep him in the top 4. Chelsea seems to have got a bit of momentum behind him now, Lampard. He seems to know what he's doing, and Hudson-Odoi has just come back, who does look like an excellent player, and they've got other players that are good that can't quite get into the team. So it's not even worth talking about Liverpool and Man City. I do think it's there for the taking, but we've got to show ourselves as better than Bournemouth, better than Crystal Palace, and that's the important thing for us to real challenge. We've got to show that we're the next level up, and unfortunately, as of we're only as good as our last game, if you want to believe that cliche. We're not as good as Crystal Palace.
Do you believe that though? Let's get rid of the cliche a minute. If 2 spots in the top 6 came open, let's just say Man United and someone else dropped out, who would you predict to take those 2 top 6 spots as we sit here right now?
Well, Leicester. So if we say 2 drop out, Leicester, and then it is anyone's, and we are in there. It was a throwaway comment. I'm trying to, it was a cliche to say of our last showing, Crystal Palace are better than us. Do I believe Crystal Palace are better than us? No way. No, I don't. Right, and it's me having a tantrum, if you like, because I was disgusted to lose to them, because it wasn't about players. It was about tactics, and Roy Hodgson got the upper hand. But in which case, it's up to Pellegrini to step up to play. I do think he's got players. You said about 1 injury. And I said about us having less wages than last time. That is true. But we also do have almost a new player in Yarmolenko. And he's an effective one as well. It's not just an extra body in there. He looks like he can do the business. Antonio's recovering quicker than expected. And he's a real game changer off the bench. Lanzini has signed a new contract. Lanzini is back. I know he was crap against Palace. Everyone was crap against Palace. But he's going to get better. He's going to continue to get better, get some fitness behind him. I still believe he's one of the best creative midfielders in the league. I do believe in it. I believe in Anderson. I do. I think we've got a winger there that is comparable with any outside the very best. Would he get into Liverpool's team? No. Would he get into Man City's team? No. most of the others, he's walking into Manchester United's team. I can tell you that right now. As the captain, he could play anywhere he wanted. So I think we've got a lot going for us, and I also think we've got the added prospect of being able to recall Diangana in January if things weren't, arguably the form player in the Championship. It's there, and we're ready. And I think in terms of personnel, we're ready to go. Granted, there might be the odd position here and there that you want to change, but that's because we're not Manchester City. We're West Ham. The right back or whatever, the left back might not be perfect, or the centre back pairing, but it's all right. If we get Fabianski back, then we can challenge. And then at that point, it is actually up to the manager, and it's up to that manager to actually to put us in those top two that are dropped out. It's up to our manager to show he's actually better than Roy Hodgson, and stuff like that.
I agree. He's been given the tools at the end of the day. He's got the tools there. He's got one of the best strikers in the Premier League. Never mind outside the top six malarkey. One of the best strikers in the league. Full stop. He's not Aubameyang. He's not Aguero, but he's up there. He's damn good. Like you said, Man United. He would walk into Man United's team at the minute right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Frank Lampard would probably play him ahead of Tammy Abraham. Now, no, Tammy Abraham's on form, but Ali is a better all-round striker. I don't care what people say. He's got that. He's got the players there. The one thing you're talking about, how we've got Yarmolenko compared to last season. We've also got Ogbonna compared to last season. Ogbonna was calamity. Now, yeah, okay, the lack of Balbuena sort of balances that out a little bit. But we've got consistency. We didn't have consistency last season. The back four kept changing every single game. The partnerships were changing. Then when the partnerships finally was Balbuena and Diop, the fullbacks kept switching around all the time. Zabaleta, Fredericks, Masuaku, Creswell, they kept changing. You thought, hang about. But we've now finally got Fredericks has made that position his own. I was a bit suspicious of him, if you like. I wasn't convinced he was good enough. That shirt's his to lose now. And he's looking good. He's looking like a Premier League right back. We've got our centre backs. They're now sorted. The left back, it's about a meh position. We'll always have this issue at left back. That's another topic. Rice has got his position. Noble's got his position. Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Anderson, Allaire, they've all got their positions. We're now going into every single week. I remember 2 seasons ago when we had the Bilic Moyes season. Every preview we did, we were rattling off about 5 changes. What would you do? Well, I would change this, I've changed that. And the thing is, the managers were also doing that. The managers were also changing up every week. Now we're doing the previews. I'm struggling to come up with questions because we know 10 of the starting 11 because you just like their positions. We don't really have much to discuss. But that's good. That's what you want. Wolves had a really good season last season. They used 16 outfielders all season. That is it. Ours was probably up about 20 something. So less is more sometimes. And I'm starting to feel that at West Ham that we are starting to have every player nullify their position, and that's only going to benefit us long term. But like you said, now this is where Pellegrini needs to earn his wages a little bit. He needs to show that while we've got a better squad on the pitch, we've also got a better squad off the pitch, and that is the one sitting on the bench dictating how the players on the pitch set up. We've seen it in some games. Norwich at home was the best example. It wasn't the best football I've seen West Ham play in a long time, but Crystal Palace just two games later, and suddenly you're thinking, well, just had our arse handed to us on a plate here, haven't we? Brendan Rodgers is better than Pellegrini. Well, I know people won't I like that, but he is. He's come into Leicester. He's stamped it. The difference is I've seen Brendan Rodgers change his team during the games and stuff. He sets every week. He doesn't set up the same formation every week either. It depends who they're playing. He changes his personnel just to play different ways. You don't get that with Pellegrini. So Pellegrini is 100% relying on us turning up and us just being better than the other team, because tactically it's a bit naive. Now it will work if we turn up and play to the top of our games. Our players all put in 8 out of 10 performances. We should beat most of the teams outside the top 6. We should beat most of them. But football's not played on paper, is it? And that's why our expectations probably overrule our hopes, Gonzo, because we know we can hope for the top 6, but it's not always that case. But do you think we'll finish in the top 6?
No, I don't. I didn't predict it at the start of the season. I just don't think we will. I don't think we've got it in us. I think you made a great point about the tactics, and fortune does tend to favour the brave, or he who dares, Rodders, if you like, a bit of only fools and horses. And I don't think he dares enough. And I think, with something we've discussed before, Pellegrini needs to find the Pellegrini that chucks on more attackers when he's losing a game and goes for it and becomes brave, and not the one. I like Snodgrass. Snodgrass got his place in the squad. I think he's the biggest character. I think when you're looking to see out a game when you're ahead, I think you bring him on. But Pellegrini needs to get out of the mindset of bringing on players like that when he's chasing the game. You need to bring on exciting players. You need to bring on goal scorers. You need to bring on attackers. And for him, he doesn't want to be a manager remembered for finishing. Well, the manager that took West Ham into comfortable positions on his 3-year tenure. No. He would love to be the one that wants to take us into Europe. And for that, he's going to have to be a little bit brave, a little bit adventurous. And the other thing that you mentioned about his tactics, Gio, he's because he doesn't change his tactics, he's also not giving the opposition anything to think about tactically. Yes, they might think we've got to double up on Haller or do whatever within the confines, but they're not going to get that team sheet an hour before and suddenly find that we're playing a 3-5-2 or exactly the type of thing that you saw Brendan Rodgers. So that opposition can train all week to combat our shape. It was a comment that Guardiola made about Pellegrini, and he was complimenting him at the time. So he was complimenting what he'd inherited at Manchester City, and he's about to play us last season, and Guardiola said, "Oh, of course, Pellegrini done wonderful here. He's got a wonderful footballing ethos." Pellegrini couldn't even be managing a team, and I could see one of his teams play, and I would spot his identity a mile off. I could tell you that was a Pellegrini team. Now, it was meant as a compliment, and it was a compliment, but also tactically, that's not really what you want, because if you're doing that, you ain't surprising anyone.
The only point I will add in terms to to beef up my claim that we should be aiming for 6 is our next run of fixtures are favourable. There's winnable fixtures in there. Everton away, Sheffield United at home, Newcastle at home. We've got to be picking up points, plural. 7 points out of them 3 games is what we've got to be targeting. We have to be targeting that. Anything else is sort of like a bit meh, because there's rumours that Marco Silva's going to lose his job if he loses to us. Well, you've got to go for that. You've got to get your knife out and go into battle and go for the throat. There's no point sitting there and becoming the paramedic and trying to make sure that Marco Silva's okay. Go for him. Go for the slaughter. And then the next 2 home games, Sheffield United and Newcastle. I don't care if Newcastle beat Man United. Everybody's doing that. But we've got to be winning those 2 games. We have to be getting 6 points out of those 2 games as well. Then all of a sudden, momentum builds, confidence builds, and that's where hopefully Fornals has maybe got a goal out of those 3 games somewhere and stuff, and that we can go up, because Antonio's targeting, as you said, the Spurs and Arsenal games. Now, if he's back for them, bonus, because now we've got a game changer on the bench, which is what we're lacking at the minute. But the point of the video was, I watched the Newcastle Man United game, and when I was watching it, all I could think of was, if we do not take this opportunity, which has been handed to us and Leicester City and Bournemouth on a silver platter, it's not even a plate, it's bigger than that, it's here, we're throwing this, the door's wide open, one of these are getting in there this season. And this is where we need to show our ambition compared to the other ones. Now, us as football fans can sit here and say Leicester City, but probably more likely to get in there, and that's something me and you have said for 2-3 years now. The reason we said it for 2-3 years is because we could see it 2-3 years ago. We could see that Leicester City were just better than us. They were being run better, they were recruiting better, and they're seeing the benefits of it now. So it's not a surprise to anybody, but as a manager, a footballer, the board, they can't sit there and say, "Oh, Leicester City are more likely to do it than us." That's not acceptable from them. They've got to work out why are they more likely to do it. They've got to counteract that and say, "Well, we've got to get ourselves in a position where we're more likely to get into the top 6." And if come May we're not in the top 6, unless we do something in the FA Cup, okay, I will always allow points being chucked away as long as you do well in the cups. But assuming we'll go out to a championship side in the 3rd round FA Cup, come May, we've got to be in there. We've got to be in the top 6. There's loads of stuff that comes into it, injuries and stuff. But general rule of thumb, this is an opportunity this season, Gonzo. And when I was watching Man United Newcastle, I thought, we've got to go for it. We have to go for it. And it doesn't justify the move to the London Stadium if we finish in the top 6 this season. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, it's the first time I've said don't know and not know. Okay, that'll be the first time I'll say, actually, maybe. Okay, maybe this does justify the move. Because up until now, my answer's always been no. I don't care that we've signed this player, that player. That's because of the money, TV income, not because of the stadium. But finishing in the top 6, Pellegrini, those players as a collective, maybe justifies the move to top 6. But can I get your final words on this, and we'll wrap this one up, Gonzo?
No, I think you've had them really, mate. I'm very sceptical. I don't trust our form over a prolonged period. I think we'll win games. Do you remember at the start of the season, we won one, drew one, we lost one, drew one, won one, and I said at that point, I said I think this is how it's going to be. I think this is how it is, and I think that's how West Ham are, and that's okay. That's okay. That's fine because, as I said, as long as we can have some entertaining football. And I do think I'm not going to base everything on Crystal Palace. That was a crap game, but you know what? Bournemouth before that wasn't. That was a good game, and that was entertaining football with Norwich and Man United. So there's lots to smile about. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind mediocrity. I'm not going to say the stuff about the clubs again, the cups again, because I've said it all and you've said it all. But I just do feel that it's a little bit beyond the top 6 at the moment. And I think we have to, if we push one more time, be it tactically, be it in purchasing players in January, I think we've got a chance. The trick is, as you suggested, is not to be so far away from that top 6 come January that it's not worth purchasing the player. The other thing I would say is, I do think on our day we can beat anybody apart from Man City and Liverpool. I really do. I think, I say Chelsea, I think Frank Lampard's doing a good job. I really do believe it. But I do believe if Haller's in top form, if Lanzini is in top form, Anderson and all these players, I think we can beat Chelsea. I really, really do. I think we can go up to Everton and beat them. I absolutely do. The other team's Tottenham in disarray. I mean, that almost can't come around quickly enough because the fact that that's one thing the players do know. You felt the players didn't take Oxford game seriously, if you like. I felt against Crystal Palace that they thought they'd just turn up and win. They almost believed that hype about being a big club mentality, and I think they almost believed it too much. Well, it's only Crystal Palace, we're West Ham now, we're potentially third or whatever. That's little Crystal Palace. Well, it didn't quite happen like that. But I think against Tottenham, you get a different mindset. I think even the players know they have to put 100% in against Tottenham. I think at the moment, with the players that we've got, if we put in 100% and our marking was tight and our play was fast, I think we beat Tottenham as well. So the opportunity is there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like I said at the start, is expectation or hope are two different things. My expectation is still 8th place in the league. That's still my expectation. But at some point, we've got to take a leap of faith. Are we ready to take that leap of faith, that leap of ambition? Maybe not. Pellegrini might have been thinking another year, and then next season we really go for it. Next season I'm going to go out on a high at West Ham, or I'm going to earn my new contract, whatever. At some point he's going to go for it. But it's happened a year too quick. The Man United thing, the Spurs thing, the Arsenal thing, it's all happened, and it's now, the opportunity is now for someone to go take that. And I think Leicester are going to take it. And we've just got to do it as well. I really do think we've just got to, as fans, we're driving a car almost in the back quite comfortably, thinking, oh, well, expect nothing, can't be disappointed. So I'll expect 10th, and I'll probably be satisfied coming in the season. But at some point, you've got to get the seatbelt off and get in the front seat and go, you know what, I'm driving this all the way to the top 6. And you might end up in a car crash. But you know something, sometimes you've got to live a little bit dangerously in life. So, like I said, hope, expectation, two different things. But if we can't hope for top 6 when there's opportunities there, then what's the point? What's the point in it all? We say about cups, it's almost like a cup. I used to hate people talking about 4th in the Premier League as like a trophy. People used to finishing top 4 is almost like winning something. I used to think it was a load of bollocks, and I still do, right? But actually, West Ham finishing in the top 6 this season, it's something to celebrate. It's an achievement. It would be something to, you know, the players could put on this footballing CV, if you like. We helped take this club into European football. And a lot of people slag off Wolves this season, but I tell you what, for a team that's only about 3 points behind us at this point, but they've been away to Torino. Their last home game, can't remember who was against, but they won in Europa League. And ball they scored in the 93rd minute or something. I want that at West Ham. That's what I want. European football at West Ham. And this is where once you're in the top 6 and you qualify for European football, the following season, I'm happy with 12th because we're getting at least, as long as you're in the group stages, you're getting at least 3 nights of European football at the London Stadium. All the away fans get another 3 nights off to 3 European cities as well.
Double priority points for that, I reckon.
Well, you better hope so. But that's what's got to be about. That's got to be the aim this season. It's been ramped up a little bit out with West Ham's control, but you've got to take that opportunity. And that's all I'm going to say. But anyway, thank you for joining us for this video, and let us know what you think in the comments below about whether we should be aiming for the top 6. If you will be disappointed if we're not in the top 6 come May, given that Man United seem to be doing their best to finish in the bottom half of the table this season. And of course, check out the Ivacy VPN offer. The link is in the description below. 25% off if you insert the code WestHam25, and £32 for a whole year of safe and secure internet browsing, particularly at 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. But anyway, Gonzo, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from me. Catch you in a bit.